Friends, neighbors, how are you today? Rabbi Manis Friedman is in the house, is on the podcast. What an honor. Thank you for being here.
My mother's house.
Your mother's house. All right.
This is the right setting for this.
Fantastic. This is the house you grew up in?
I had left on Shlichus by the time
No,
we moved in here. But yes, this is where the family...
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you for hosting us. It's beautiful to see. We're surrounded by many family photos and pictures, and I see a young Rabbi Fried gazing right into me. Feels like he's gazing right into my soul as we speak. But
I'll tell him.
He'll hear this. He's a big fan of the podcast. Good. No doubt. Well, to jump right into it, actually, Meni Pellin, you may know him, asked, does your son Benny Friedman have his mother's voice?
How would you know? Yes, he does, actually.
Does he really?
Yeah, my mother was very talented.
Do you sing? Do you sing at all?
Well, nobody's listening.
Are you a fan? Are you a fan
Of Benny?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And your other children?
I like them all.
Oh, safe answer.
Yeah.
All right.
You're going to trap me into that one.
All right. But let's really, I mean, Rabbi Manis Friedman, you've really developed a following, and you're obviously a rabbi, like you mentioned, in Minnesota, and built quite a few. You've an author, a prolific speaker, international speaker. Actually, I have to say, my first speech I've ever heard. I mean, I went to school. Obviously, I've heard my teachers talk, but really, like, my first professional speaker was you. I was in Pittsburgh in yeshiva at the time, and I guess the community brought you down to speak about intimacy. And I remember sneaking into the program, and I can't remember exactly all of that you spoke about. But what I do remember is that it was done very professionally. It was done very well, and I was like, wow, like, you held the room, and I found that to be very powerful. Which is amazing to say. But talking about that, let's jump right into it. Sex. It doesn't phase you.
Never heard of it.
You never experienced it.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Sex. You didn't even flinch with that word. Sometimes rabbis or people can be like, "Ooh, oh my gosh, oy vey," but it doesn't really. You don't bat an eye when it comes to that. I know you have a strong opinion about what sex means, or what that, or like you say, you sort of allured from it. But what is sex to you, and how does that play a role when it comes to intimacy?
Well, sex used to be intimacy.
It used to be.
Yes, and it's meant to be the ultimate intimacy. But I think since the 60s, we've stripped it of all. No pun intended. We stripped it of all intimacy, of all meaning, of all content, and it's empty and it's boring, and people are losing interest.
So at one point, the act, what we call having sex, two people coming together, that was, you're saying, special and holy, but during
scary.
And scary,
right?
Why don't we blush anymore? #
Awesome. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's.
What makes you think that now it's different from what it was? It's not like it used to be. Like, what makes you think this generation has lost that magic from 30, 40 years ago?
I think somebody wrote a book, or maybe it's just the title of a chapter in the book, but he said, I think it's a good observation. What do you mean safe sex? If it's safe, it's not sex. Right? So what happened in the 60s is that people decided, men and women, can't blame just the men and women both decided that there should be free love. Free of everything. Commitment, meaning, entanglement, emotion, intimacy. It became recreational. There's nothing intimate about recreational. And I think that this is the Me Too phenomenon. It's not that men have lost respect for women. I think they probably have more respect for women today than ever. And yet they do these horrible things because they've lost respect for intimacy. They think it's fun. So they said, so they look, so they touch, so they... What? Didn't we decide to relax about it? And now all of a sudden I say, you looked at me the wrong way?
Right. I mean, I guess, I mean, if you bring like specifics, like a Me Too movement, I think it's specifics less about looks, about looking at somebody and touching them in inappropriate manners, especially in any workspace or out of that. But I mean, to say that, I mean, this didn't take place earlier, back in the 60s, 70s also. I mean, this has been, it's just more, it was hush hush back then, right? People were still acting in such manners then as of now. There is something I think there. I mean, I could be in agreement in the sense that today, with all the dating apps that are out there, and it's so much more easy and acceptable to multi-date at once and to share of oneself in a very physical manner with the opposite sex or the same sex. But without
really sharing anything.
But you lose yourself within that, and it loses, right? It's not special anymore, and that could be.
It's not special because it's not you. It's just a thing you do. That's where the intimacy disappears. It's not about me. It's not really about you. It's this thing that we do.
Which has a potential to bring two people very close together, but sometimes that same act can push two people apart.
Keep you apart
and make you feel very much alone, even in the act of doing so.
Yeah.
I do love what you said about the example you bring about the grandmother, right? You never ask your grandmother, what do you guys do in the bedroom? And what would she say?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No thing. Things are inappropriate in an intimate relationship. Things are pornographic, right? Pornography means objectifying. Introducing things where there should be just us. So when you have two people are not things, and when they merge with each other and remove all things that come between them, you have intimacy. But when sex becomes your thing, it's not intimate anymore.
Mm-hmm. And is intimacy a product of love, or is intimacy connected with love? Is there a coalition between those two?
It's much more powerful than love, because love can also be a thing. I can use this example. If a man says to a woman, "I want to marry you for your money," is that offensive?
Yes, 100%.
Because?
Well, you're marrying her for things other than herself.
Well, she has money.
Yeah, it's not her.
She has money.
Sure.
I like money.
Yeah, I have a few friends, who've played that card.
It's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, that's right.
When you say, "I want to marry you for your money," it's a thinly disguised insult. I just want the money. Now, in a perfect world, you would just give me the money. But nothing's perfect in this world, so I'm going to have to marry you for the money. But I don't want you. I just want the money. Okay? Why is love any different? I just want your love. I didn't ask for your opinion.
Well, love is connected with the person themselves, isn't it?
But it's a thing. You can have it or not have it. You can be better at it, more loving, less loving. I loved you yesterday. I don't love you today. It comes and goes. But the main thing is, people marry for love, not for the person.
And how do you... So if that's the case, I mean, in the Orthodox world, right, where dating doesn't take place over a long period of time, so especially in that, how does one come to a place of love or any type of know-how of this person after a month, 2 months, or 3 months, and then get married? So you're saying that system is better in a way than spending more time?
Much healthier. Look, marriage means I need another person in my life, not a clone of me. The whole point of marriage is I'm not enough. Let's look at it from a traditional. God said, "It is not good that man alone exists. I will create him a helpmate." So everybody's asking, all of a sudden it's not good. I thought it was good. The real question is, why did God have to say it? You created a man. Not enough? Create a woman. Go right ahead. You're on a roll, you know.
Yeah.
You created light and you created good. What do you have to say? I'm going to create a woman because it's not good for... What are you justifying? What are you... Do what you got to do.
Yeah, sure.
The Medrash says that when God said it is not good for man to be alone, he created that fact. Had he not said it, it would be perfect to be alone. Like most people say, leave me alone.
And sure, I guess, and also to that fact, being alone didn't even exist. It wasn't in existence at the time. It just was.
So here's the really beautiful thing. When God said it is not good for man to be alone, he was talking about himself.
Mic drop moment.
Why am I creating a world? What do I need this for? The answer is, there's just me. Now, what's wrong with that? You're perfect, you're infinite, you're eternal, you're all-knowing, you're all-powerful. Hey, enjoy.
Sure. Wasn't enough.
Just me, no matter how perfect you are, just me, for a godly being, it's not enough. So by saying, in part of creation, it is not good for a human to be alone, he gave us a divine instinct. You're as perfect as you need to be, but there's just you. Not good. We're now discovering that the thing that people suffer from today that is really bad and really dangerous
is
loneliness.
100%.
And when I noticed in marriage counseling that happily married couples, they got no complaints. It's a functional marriage. And yet you talk to them individually, they feel alone in the world. But you're married.
Right. Where do you think that's where does that stem from your experience?
Because the marriage is lacking intimacy.
So they're not talking enough, they're not holding hands enough, they're not sharing, they're not being vulnerable with each other?
They're doing all of that.
Okay. So there's communication.
But they're not merging. First of all, men want to remain men. They don't want to be husbands. Mm-hmm. It's embarrassing to be a husband.
How do you define a husband?
Wimp.
Women define how do women
Wimp.
Wimp. I feel like in this day and age, the toxic masculinity is starting to die down. I think people are, the responsibilities are being shared and people are stepping into the roles a bit more comfortably.
Which roles? Diapering babies?
It could be anything, really, in the sense of, well, whether it's the woman being the breadwinner of the house or men, doing the cleaning, the cooking.
So here's the problem. We're going from one thing to another.
Yeah, we are jumping around a bit. Let's bring it back. Yeah.
Men don't want to be husbands. Women don't want to be wives. Men and women married to each other is a disaster because men are not good for women and women are not good to men. They're better off without each other. But husband and wife are inseparable. You can't be a better husband without a wife. So if you don't become a husband and you don't become a wife, you're going to live side by side. You may enjoy many things together. Like the guy says, I love everything about my wife. I just don't know what I need her for. Well, just give me the money, right. Give me the love, give me the humor.
The idea of her.
The things about her I like. Her, I don't need her. But the real issue is, does having a good job make you more of a man? No. Has nothing to do with being a man. So if a woman has a good job, is she more of a woman? She's empowered as a woman? This is neutral. This is neither male nor female. So how do we empower women? How do we empower men? To be women and to be men, not to get a job which has nothing to do with gender.
So when you bring it back, how do you define a husband? What is the difference between a husband and a man, a wife and a woman?
A husband and wife have the ability to remove all things, to get past all things. There's nothing about my wife, it's my wife. There's nothing about my husband, it's my husband. Like, for example, when your wife is out of town, you miss her. What do you miss about her?
In theory, because I'm a
Don't
single
answer
man.
the question.
Well, I'm not going to answer the question.
You get in trouble.
I have no wife, but yes,
You miss her.
her being,
Her
her presence.
Yes. So, well, what do you miss about her the most? I miss her because she is not here. Problem is, the minute she walks in the door, I got something for her to do.
Right.
It suddenly becomes about something. So our grandparents married each other. They wanted to have each other in their lives. There were many things about each other they didn't really enjoy. Why do you have to be like this? Why can't you be like that? And they bickered. And you think they were unhappily married. No, they were happily married to each other, not to things about each other. We're trying to do the opposite. I want to like everything about you. I just don't need you. Just give me the goodies and keep your opinion to yourself. So my first book, Doesn't Anyone Blush Anymore?
Sure.
It's published by Harper. They get to pick the title because that's money.
Sure. Yeah.
But they ask you to submit possible titles, right? The one I wanted, which they rejected, the title I wanted was Shut Up, I Love You. Because I think that is the key problem in most relationships. I love you. I love your looks. I love your intelligence. But why do you have to have a personality? Just shut up and let me love you.
All right. Did you?
And the result is you feel alone. Because I'm not connected to you. Now imagine I don't need anything from you. Nothing. I don't need security. I don't need you to cook an egg for me. I don't need you to do laundry. I don't need anything from you. I just want you. And for whatever reason, you're not available. What am I missing? God needs us, well, but he's perfect. So needing us makes him imperfect? No. If he needed something from us, that would make him imperfect. But when he needs nothing, just wants to have someone by his side with him.
Sure.
So if he doesn't have us, what is he missing?
He's still whole and complete.
Yep. This is the beauty of it. You're missing. That's what it means. I miss you. I'm perfect. I'm perfect. I'm complete.
Yes.
I am missing no pieces. But I miss you. That's God's vulnerability. When God says, for myself, I am not enough. That is divine. That's what makes God lovable. He's perfect. He's awesome. He's infinite. That doesn't excite me.
Yeah.
Good for him. But he's vulnerable, and I can make it right.
Yeah.
With me, he's okay. Without me, he's not.
That's a beautiful concept. And fact.
I think that's the essence of Judaism.
Which is fantastic to hear. I think the shift between, well, at least growing up and from my understanding from previous generations, they lived more in around of a fearful God. And now the language is focused more on more of a loving God.
But there's a trap there. God is love. All I want is God's love. Do I have to put up with all his other shtick?
Was that religion per se?
Yeah. Just give me the love. Give me the love.
That's it.
All you really need is love.
All we need is love.
Right. Or, I just want to get to heaven.
Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think I grew up Chabad. So, I mean, I grew up Chabad. I don't think I did. I did. And I didn't grow up in that philosophy at all.
Why?
It's all about action. It's about here. It's about now. It's the Derech Tainim. It's not about the schar.
Which means it's about him, not about me.
Yeah.
But if I say, I want to get to heaven, what will it take? 613 mitzvahs? Come on, lighten up. I just want to get to heaven.
Yeah.
So it's like saying, I want to marry you for your money. Just give me the money. Don't complicate things.
Yes.
So when I say I want to get to heaven, it's like, just give me to heaven. Let me in. Just let me in. Why do I need to put up with you?
Right.
That's Christianity. Just get me into heaven. Leave me alone. So the intimacy, by definition, is a non-thing. If I can put all things aside, including these two very devastating, destructive things, love and sex. Get love and sex out of the way so that two people can become one.
So typically, what would you suggest that, 3 questions someone should ask on the first date to their partner?
The first question is, you really want to be married? Because if not, I'm going home.
Oh, first day.
First date.
Out of the gates. All right.
Right. Not what impression do I make on you?
Like, are we playing games or we're here? We're here for the commitment.
Yes. If you don't believe in marriage, then why are we talking? So don't tell me whether you like me, whether I look good, whether you really want to be married? Like in 4 months? That's how long it takes to get a caterer.
Yeah.
You want to be married in 4 months? Oh, no. Okay, then let's go home.
All right.
You're not serious.
That's definitely a way to separate the
men from the boys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I tell women, pick a date. June.
Make it very real. You're saying grounded in reality. June 17th.
Yes.
Bar, no shoes allowed. We're making it happen.
Yes.
Got it.
And on the first date, you take out your calendar and you say, I'm scheduled for June 17. Oh. And women say, they're going to run away. Okay, that's one benefit.
Yeah. Sure.
So far, so good.
You're, sieving through the ones that want to stick around.
Okay. So dating for 3 years?
Okay.
And then not getting married?
Totally. That's another extreme. Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There has to be a happy medium.
That's where dating has become an alternative lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's like a quasi-marriage. You can get hurt. You can get angry. You can be jealous. You can cheat. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a little marriage you have going there, but you're not really married.
Right. My question is, how much do you say for the shock factor, and how much do you truly stand behind? Because throughout the years you've had quite a few stands on different topics that are controversial or tend to be controversial, and you take it's a headliner. It's clickbait. I want to hear more about this. How much is it for that effect, or do you truly follow through with what you're saying?
It's not for the effect. It's for the MS. Sadly,
your MS, Ter's MS, your opinion, I'm defining
Judaism. Unfortunately, the truth is shocking. I don't know why. Why is it shocking?
Why is the truth shocking?
Because PC means don't be so honest. Mm-hmm. Fake news is better.
Or it comes down to so you're saying it's not your opinion, it's straight out Judaism, belief, God, and this. I'm just saying the facts. This is how it is.
Yep. An example: if you're going to get married, always use a shadchan. I think it's a tragedy that the matchmakers, the shadchanim, introduce you and then step away. Exchange numbers, call each other, talk it up, see what happens. I'm not going to pay you for that.
Yeah.
That's not good. In fact, it's terrible. The hurt, the damage that does. You go out with, the first date.
Yeah, sure.
And not really interested. But he says, so tomorrow? You want to say no, but you say, okay.
I mean, there's always a pity second date. Come on. There's always a second date. You gotta, that's nice. It's common decency.
Common decency. Once you have a second date,
Third date? Nah.
it is so awkward for many people to say no.
Yeah. How was your first date?
Wow.
Paint me the picture. What were you wearing?
I have no idea.
Come on, hat and jacket, white shirt. You wearing
Of course.
a tie? Tie?
Yeah.
Open the door?
For her?
Yeah.
Have to ask.
Did she pick you up?
Yeah, I think we went to the airport. Observation, whatever. That's observation.
It's a great
deck.
line, actually. You know, like, what was it? Like, with the heart? Are we near an airport? Are we near an airport? Because my heart just flew away.
I didn't use that line.
No.
Anyway.
So how was the first date?
It must have been pretty good because after the fifth, we were married.
Wow. You married the first woman you dated? Huge. And still going strong.
It's lucky.
It is lucky. Let's be honest. That's not common.
Yeah. Can't force it.
Who put that together? The shotgun. Who's the matchmaker?
I don't remember. I don't know.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
What was about her that you just knew, like, she's it?
Her money.
It's good.
Yeah.
Rabbi's got jokes.
So without the shotgun,
Good deflection.
there's going to be trouble.
Right.
You go out, let's say 5, 6, 8, 10 times,
Yeah.
and then you decide you don't want to marry her. How do you end it? So I can tell you horror stories. You're not going to do it over the phone.
Actually, I did after 3
You
months.
ended it over the phone?
Yeah. I was in, just didn't, yeah. I did. It was sad.
Very.
It was.
Yeah.
I remember I cried. She was sad. It was sad.
But you ended it.
No, actually, no. It was like it was fizzling. It was, she ended it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happens is you got to get together because you got to tell, you got to be a mensch. You're going to tell her face to face.
All right. Well, wish someone told me that back then.
You say face to face. I don't think this is working out. I'm really not interested.
It's the way to do it. Yeah.
But then she'll say, why?
Got to be honest.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not comfortable, but you gotta step up.
Yeah. So I'm talking to these women.
Uh-huh.
The guy was honest, and they are so traumatized.
Oh. I mean, I guess you know specifics, but I don't know exactly what was said, but if it's...
That's the role of the shotgun. You can't ask the shotgun why. The shotgun says, he said he's not interested. Why? I don't know.
Wouldn't it be better, though, in this realm of honesty, like you were mentioning before, like, wouldn't it be better for two human beings to be honest and say what it is that...
No. No.
Uh-huh.
Never.
Never?
Never. It's
Why
cruel.
would you say that?
It's cruel. You're honest and you don't have secrets from your husband or wife, not from a person you're not marrying. You're saying, I don't want to marry you, but I'll tell you the whole truth. No. No. So when you're dating, you're being completely selfish. You're supposed to be. The purpose of a date is to see if you like. You're not there to make a good impression.
Yeah.
Why would you want to make a good impression on a total stranger? So you overdo it. I mean, the whole way that it's approached is, put on this, put on that, wear a little of this, try to be funny, try to be serious, Stop it.
Just be yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
You're being selfish, and that's the purpose of the dating. Marriage means you're being selfless.
Yeah.
But we got it backwards. People are more selfless in a date and more selfish in marriage. We got it confused.
Got it. I mean, okay. To pivot now to another direction, but it's still in the realm of all these things. You have amazing opinions. You always stand by it. I think you're an outlier in that sense. But I feel like this sort of starts way back when you were younger, in your maybe young 20s. I may have the timeline wrong, but you didn't grow up Chabad, right? You grew up Babov?
I grew up Chabad.
You grew up Chabad? Born and raised Chabad?
Before that, I was not grown up.
Okay, interesting. Nice. I was born with no teeth. So I'm curious to know what is it that attracted you to that, but also like, did you have any pressure, any pushback from friends, family when you decided on like a lifestyle? I mean, especially back then, I was thinking it's like sort of like, religions, like you're converting to another religion.
Yeah.
That must have been very difficult.
Well, I got to tell you that in the 60s, I went with the tefillin truck to Washington Square
Park? Or that area?
That was the hippie.
Yeah, sure. That's where all the demonstrations take place. Sure.
Yeah.
Totally.
We go any place else, and you pull up with a tefillin truck, right? People cross the street.
Sure.
To avoid you. Not by the hippies.
They love it.
Yeah, they swarmed. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, what's happening?
Yeah.
So we were putting on tefillin with one after the other.
Was that your like hippie voice? I like it. You're too good at that, actually.
Yeah.
Too good.
That's where I grew up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was a Sunday, so the television cameras were there because it was an attraction. That neighborhood. So it was on the news that night.
Tefillin truck, hippie, Washington Square Park, the whole vibe.
Somebody told my grandfather.
That's how you came out to him? That you were Chabad?
No. He knew, but
he knew. Out in the public.
He was horrified.
Wow.
Mit the hippies. It was shocking.
Wow.
It was like blasphemous. Putting on tefillin with the hippies?
Right. It's sort of like it's unworthy or...
Yeah. So that's basically what attracted me. That difference in mentality of being so parochial, closed off, protective. The world is bad, stay away.
So what if you're brought up in that mentality, surrounded by people who believed in this, what was that feeling internally? What did you experience anything other than that?
We lived in Crown Heights.
Oh, okay.
And there was something about that street, Eastern Parkway, with that house.
Yeah, that one
where the activity was always upbeat. Middle of the night, people coming, going, singing, and everybody else in the religious community was pretty much waiting to die out. It was like a hospice.
Uh-huh.
The old Yiddishkeit is gone.
Right.
Shed a tear and let it go because it's over. Right. And here it's like, what?
There's fire. There's aliveness.
We're taking over the world.
Incredible. So
for a teenager, come on, that's heaven.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Did you have a certain rebellious streak? You're the oldest in your family, as the oldest. I know I'm the oldest. There's always that. I'm different from, let's say, my other siblings. Is that part of it as well? Was there a certain level of
probably?
I want to, my parents say this, I want to do that.
Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. And I always prayed that my children should rebel
in such a manner
by becoming more Hasidic than me.
Sure, that's great. So was there a moment your parents sat you down and you had a talk or you told them, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm becoming Chabad. Was there a moment where that you got straight with them?
Many.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was difficult for them. It really was.
You ever came around to it?
Yeah. And then all my siblings. So they were outnumbered.
Yeah. Started a trend. That's amazing.
It was amazing.
We are filming this podcast today, which is Yud Shvat. How apropos. Yud Shvat, 70 years since the Lubavitcher Rebbe took leadership of the Chabad movement.
So let me share a personal...
Oh, you want to go? Wow.
Yeah.
Let's ring the bells. It's getting personal.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, please.
Because of what today is.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Growing up in Crown Heights.
Sure.
But to me, Mickey Mantle was the hero.
Really?
Ever heard of Mickey Mantle?
Sure. He was a hockey player.
Right.
Baseball.
Before there was hockey in New York.
Yes.
He was the hero. He was. But I kept hearing about the Rebbe. Great man, holy, wise. I went into I was religious. I went into 770 from Ma'ariv. Tiny little minion. This is like in the 50s.
Mm.
And I'm a little kid, small for my age. And I just, make my way right up to where the Rebbe was sitting. And I'm staring like this is the Rebbe. And the Rebbe gets up to do Shemona Esrei, the Amidah. And at one point, the Rebbe bowed. Something struck me. I was a shmendrik little kid,
Mm-hmm.
with Mickey Mantle on my mind. It struck me so real. The way the Rebbe bowed. Who is he humble to? Who is he bowing? Who humbles this man? And God became real to me. I mean, real. And I thought, well, that's what a Rebbe does, right?
Right. Yeah.
But then I looked around. Nobody else saw it. Later, when I started learning Chassidus, I realized the Rebbe can choose where he allows himself to be seen, revealed. Right? And he saw this little kid who doesn't know whether he's coming or going. And he said,
what made you think that no one else saw that or felt that?
Because I never saw it again.
From the Rebbe?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It was like a glimpse, like a curtain opened a little bit. Said, okay, see? Okay, bye.
Ah. And you can't really explain more than there's just a certain level of just seeing that humbleness, seeing that there are a certain vulnerability from the Rebbe himself of just.
And here's the beauty of it. There are a lot of religious people who do religious things and you think, wow, that's religious. That was not the reaction. My reaction was not, wow, the Rebbe is so humble. My reaction, who is humbling him? Who is he bowing to?
Mm-hmm.
That godliness. If you notice the person, okay, I'm sure everybody noticed the person. Look how the Rebbe davens. Isn't that beautiful, the way, so elegant, and he doesn't shuckle, he doesn't jump up and down. Yeah, that I always noticed.
Yeah.
But that one time, I noticed who he was bowing to.
Have you ever experienced godliness without the middleman? The Rebbe sort of showed that to you, but have you ever experienced godliness in a direct form where it was just, wow, that's real?
They all involved the Rebbe.
Simchas
Torah.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying there was always the Rebbe, though. I'm saying you alone, room, field, mountaintop, just you, God. Did that ever take place? No. Yet you still believe in God from that moment?
I don't believe in him. He's real.
You don't believe in him, but he's real. What's the belief doesn't connect with it for your belief? I mean, just to justify your belief.
The word belief is a little.
How would you say?
You believe in something you can't explain, or you believe in something you can't know. This is knowable,
right? And no one can say otherwise. I mean, your relationship with God is very personal. So I mean, if you know, you know. How would you explain it to someone who doesn't know?
Get to know.
But there's no
Don't
for
substitute.
example. Right, there's no rabbi. The opportunity of experiencing that doesn't exist anymore.
All right.
Say for someone in the Orthodox or Chabad world, and anybody who's listening who may not even be Jewish, how does one go about that process?
You learn. God is knowable. Don't cop out with faith. Get to know him. Some scientist asked the Rebbe back in the 60s. There was talk in the scientific circles about life on other planets.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna go check it out, right? So somebody said to the Rebbe, "We don't believe in life on other planets, do we?" There's a frum scientist.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
He says, "We don't believe in life on other planets." The Rebbe said, "Belief? Go take a look." You can't use belief as a cop-out, like I'm too lazy to go look, so I'll make up a belief. Don't use belief inappropriately. That God created the world is something you should know, not believe.
So how does God still show up in your life?
It's all about him. See, there's another thing. The future of psychology, which is not doing so well, the future of psychology is you don't have deep, dark needs. You don't have repressed impulses and desires that need to be acted on or spoken of. And you don't need anything because you're a creation. Only a creator needs something.
I mean, we're all creators, in a sense, aren't we not? I mean, we all have, we're all creations of higher power of God, but at the same time, we have the power to create.
In a sense, we're not creating.
I mean, with the
we're
power
perpetuating
invested within me, sure, but there's an element, doubting oneself is doubting the Creator.
Well, we create children. Do parents need children, or do children need parents?
Both. Oh, I think the parents need the children more than the parents. I mean,
Say again?
I was gonna say, obviously the child, especially in the earliest years, needs someone to take care of them. But I think there's also the parent needs a child tremendously. Tremendously. It's their identity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So does the child really have needs?
Besides the basics, of food or...
Which the parents provide.
Yeah. No.
So what do you need?
No.
That's why if a child is not happy, something's wrong. What is your problem?
Yeah.
What's your problem? We are guests in God's world. Why do we have needs? In other words, isn't it the Creator who has needs, not the created?
Yes, but then though the cycle continues and the child grows,
Yeah.
and through the human condition of life, there's the cycle of whatever trauma and stuff that has taken place when parents passed on, and then the work takes place for the child to break that cycle.
Perfectly said.
Thank you.
Life creates needs, not me. I don't need. Listen, this is really Mashiach-dik, right?
Yeah, we're getting there.
I need a doctor. I need a doctor. Actually, like a hole in the head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need a doctor. God created me in such a way that my health can either work or not work. And when it doesn't work, I have to go to a doctor. He invented that, not me.
Yeah, sure.
Even the need to eat. I need to eat. Actually, I need to stop eating. And I can't. So who did this to me? If you say it correctly, I'll give you an example. A kid goes out of town, overseas to yeshiva. He arrives in the yeshiva, Chassidish yeshiva,
Yeah, sure.
and he says to the mashpia, I have to call my mother. Where's the telephone? And the mashpia says, you have to?
For your mother's sake, you have to call.
Is it true that you have to?
True.
No, it's not true.
No, I mean, true. No, not true.
Yeah.
But yes.
I don't need to call my mother. In fact, I think it's a little bit annoying. But my mother needs me to call her. Why can't we talk straight? I need to eat. Whoever designed me, whoever fashioned me with this handicap, thank you very much.
Yes.
He needs me to eat. I don't want to eat. And if I designed myself, I would never do that to me.
So the change of way of being, if someone's growing up and has been brought up in a certain lifestyle or way of being, their needs and wants may not be their needs or wants or what they think their needs or wants are, but they have to do a certain amount of work to unscrew and figure out what their true needs are. But that takes work, that takes therapy, that takes psychology. I mean, or mashpia or whatnot to help some guidance.
So the future of psychology is, instead of telling you more needs you didn't know you had, thank you very much.
Right.
It will relieve you of needs, not try to solve your needs. You don't need anything.
Letting go, then more, less of taking on than more letting go.
Because you didn't ask to be born. You really don't need. This is a recent development. It was never true before. Everybody did what they had to do. That's how we got this far. That's how we built civilization.
We didn't have time to think of anything else.
Because you had to.
Sure.
Right?
Survival.
So when somebody said you have to, you did. Particularly if it was the czar. Yeah. Somebody was always dictating your needs. You need to do that. You must do this. Today, people are starting to say, I don't need to do anything. And don't threaten me. Because you're going to threaten me. I see it coming. Right? Yeah, but if you don't do what you have to do, you're going to end up... Okay, don't threaten me, because I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like this guy who was suing his parents for giving birth to him. Didn't hear about it?
No, I didn't hear about this.
Guy in India, 27 years old. He took him to court.
Okay, wow.
He wants them to pay all his bills for the rest of his life.
Because without you, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have this responsibility and so on.
You didn't ask me.
Yeah.
I never signed any contracts. So you give birth to me and then tell me that I have to go to school?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to go to school. Well, you won't get a job. I don't need a job.
Right.
Well, you won't be able to pay your bills. Hey, I'm not paying bills. It's like inviting me to an expensive restaurant and they're telling me to pay the bill.
Yeah. Well, Well, what? Okay, what are your thoughts on this?
He's making a lot of sense.
He's making a lot of sense.
Yeah. Because he wants his parents to pay all his bills for the rest of his life, and he's not even Jewish.
Jewish cup. I mean,
so,
yes.
Young children are saying the same thing. You ask them to do something, and they say, I didn't ask to be born. Where is this coming from? It's coming from the truth. You didn't ask to be born. Nobody asks to be born because nobody needs to be born.
So how do you excite someone to be alive?
If you're smart enough to figure out that you don't need this, then figure out who does.
Does that lead to a question of, let's say, people who grew up in religion? Now, let's say people grew up with religion. Why do I need religion? Why do I have to do the rituals? If they're not arguing with you, Rabbi, God exists, higher power, I believe in the universe, all good and fine. Why do X, Y, and Z to get down this road to connect? If I can do it my own way.
Perfect example. The frum grandparent says, you have to go to shul. You have to keep Shabbos. The kid says, I thought about it and...
Not really.
I don't have to. Yeah. Oh, you have to. No, I don't have to.
Or the one is like, if I don't feel it now, keep on doing it and it'll come later.
Fine.
But still, I mean, the point doesn't...
But I don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't have to. So, you're going to go to Gehenna? Okay. Stop with the threats.
Yeah.
You're not winning any points by threatening me. Because it only proves that you don't have an argument.
Absolutely.
Right.
How do you answer this? I mean, because it's definitely a conversation, right? This day and age. I know for myself. I mean, the way I practice Judaism is very different from how I was brought up, in my own home. So, in that idea, is religion, is it tied with God, or is it two separate things and just a way to connect to a higher power?
Why do you want to connect to a higher power?
Well,
and who invited you?
Yeah, right. Well, if we're going back to the idea of God.
Who invited you?
Right. And you're right, 100% in the sense. So let's go back. So a step before that, where the child says, you ask me, tell me to do something, follow a certain way, do a certain thing. I don't need you. It's not my choice to be here. It's all you.
Yeah.
Let me go
It's
about
your religion. Leave me alone.
Right.
Everybody's saying that.
Right. And
it's true. And that's why the parents are freaking out.
Yeah.
Because kid's right.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to.
It's funny if I just pause for a second, because when I came back from, I was speaking to my mother before I got here, as I should be. And after I came back from traveling, I traveled the world for a year and a half. I came back. You may remember this, but I came back and I was long hair, hippie clothing, and I'm not putting you in a corner. Don't worry about it. But my mother's like, they're freaking out because I was speaking about, what is God? And I was, I experienced the world and out of the confines and the bubble of which I grew up in. So I had a lot of different doubts and ideas. So this is, someone suggested to speak to you. And I remember we sat down, we spoke, and I remember your way of being wasn't attacking. It was very calm, cool, collected. And you were just like challenging me in my ideas and thoughts, where it sort of came back to this idea of like, you want to do this, then do it. You want to go, then go, experience it. Like, go down that road. Don't, like, in a sense, maybe I translate it my own way, but you correct me if I'm wrong. But in the sense of like, if that's what you want to do, then go experience, see how that is, and see if it fulfills you in that manner.
So what is the correct answer? The correct answer is, no one ever said you need to do this. That's not Yiddishkeit. The Torah is, this is what God needs from you. You don't need anything because you didn't need to be born. So why were you born? Not from your need, from his need. So with Chassidim, it's very easy to say, do you have to do what God says? No. He'll punish you. Stop with the threats.
You're right.
But if you say, this is what God needs from you, now can you say no? If the Rebbe would call you and say, I need you to do this.
Oh, dangerous comparison there. But yeah.
Could you say no?
No, but then again, you'll find guys who don't believe in God who believe in the Rebbe, Like, yeah, but sure.
The point is, if this is what God needs from you, can you say, So now all of a sudden, you have to do it.
Yeah, but you're saying that whoever said that you need to do something, so perhaps it's a flawed system of how things are being taught to the children, to the kids, to the way I was brought up, in a sense, that what you're to do, how to do, the language of it.
Yes. In fact, today, if you say you have to, the conversation's over.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. Not just religion, anything. You have to go to school. That's it, I'm not going. That language has got to stop. Because we've come to a very correct realization. I don't need any of this.
So how would one right now in this day, in the reality of what it is, how does one approach someone who perhaps in a family member who is living their life, doing their own thing? How does one approach that? Have a conversation. What would you say to parents who,
what do you say
to scared?
What do you say to a guy in the street when you're on Miftzayim? Like to put on tefillin? No. Okay, bye. What do you say?
Yeah. So you're saying don't fight it.
What do you mean?
Drag. I'm saying like, well, are you saying just let it go? Fine, move on to the next guy.
I'm asking, what are you doing?
Oh.
You approach a guy and you say,
okay.
Do you need tefillin? No. Okay, bye.
Nah, you just welcome him. You say hi. I mean, it's been a minute since I've been saying, but
what you're doing is you're coming to a person and saying, have you got a minute to do something for God? And the guy says, I don't need this. I know. Can you take a break for a minute and do something you don't need? That's a mitzvah. A mitzvah means something you don't need. Can you take a break from your own needs before you get totally depressed and do something for someone else?
Stepping out of yourself.
That inspires people. I'm talking to a guy who said, I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. And I said, yeah, but God created you. He needs you. Oh, he does?
Only one. Right.
All of a sudden, I'm interested. A minute ago, he didn't believe in God. God needs me? Tell me more. Because he was told all his life he needs God.
I'm sure there's a few people who have quite harsh ideas. Actually, I was sitting by a round table you're hosting in LA over Shabbos, and you brought up this concept of how God needs us. And a lot of people from different movements in Judaism were very upset about that, very bothered by that. The idea that God would need us, mere mortals.
Try to get around it.
I saw you trying.
No. Get around the fact that God needs. He doesn't need. But he created the world.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Sure.
Because he needs nothing.
Right.
No. Created it for a reason. With a purpose. Yeah, but a purpose that he doesn't really need.
Well, the concept of, I think, desire is very, very foreign to some people, that God has a desire.
Well, make sense of it without that. It doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't work. No. He doesn't need anything. He just wants to do you a favor.
So they need more chassidus in their life. That's about it.
Even chassidus needs to be understood.
It's true. I agree with that. I've recently just delved back into some chassidus, to learning more chassidus, and it's learning it now in a more very real, practical way, just because I'm engaged in life. I just wish, and this is echoed by a lot of my friends, I wonder if it's because it wasn't taught that way when I was in yeshiva like years ago, or we just didn't have enough life to experience and to compare it to. But maybe it's maybe a little bit of both.
I'm talking to an 11-year-old kid, yeshiva boy, and he says, I don't think God needs it. He just wants it. I said, God wants something he doesn't need? And the kid said, oh, that's it. He wants it. He doesn't need it. You know what that's called?
What's
immature. That? Even a human being shouldn't want what he doesn't need. So you can't get around it. I know there's a problem. I know. God is supposed to be perfect. He's not supposed to need anything. I know about that problem. But you can't get away from it. If he doesn't need, then it's all over. Because I certainly don't need this.
That's fantastic. What is, just to get a little personal, first of all, what inspired you to get into this line of work? Like, was there someone growing up, someone maybe other than the Rebbe, a mentor or something that you saw, some sort of, what was that fire, that passion within you that you wanted to step into this leadership? A, and B, do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy the spotlight? Do you enjoy, being the performance of it all?
I think it's obvious that I enjoy it. It's hard to hide. But it was, I think, a two-step. First of all, I fell in love with Chassidus. Rabbi Yoel. Secondly, there were pegishas. I remember back in the late 50s, early 60s.
Before my time.
Where college students would come to Crown Heights, and the best speakers would speak to them about, and I heard Chassidus being spoken in English. And the students were so moved. I said, I got to do this. Let me out of yeshiva. I got to do this.
All right.
So I got married early. I was the youngest in my group, 21.
21, you got married? Wow.
Yeah. Because I can't wait. I got to do this. So Hasidus in English that inspires people, irresistible.
Wow. And how old were you when you wrote and published Why Don't We Blush Anymore?
That was 1990.
Year I was born.
But before that, 1970, I moved to Minnesota.
Yeah.
With my wife and baby. And we started Beis Chana, which was really funny because it was a joke. We were sitting around, there were 3 shluchim. We're sitting around, we have this big house, just bought the big Chabad house, many bedrooms. And we're sitting around in the summer, everybody's out of town, schools are closed, university is closed. What are we going to do with this big building? So somebody said, there is a yeshiva, Baal Tshuva yeshiva for men. There's nothing for women. Who are they going to marry? It was a joke.
Right.
We said, so let's do something for women. We did. And since then, over 30,000 women have come through Beis Chana.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
What an incredible accomplishment. Did they all marry off Baal Shuvas or Gesh? Do you know the... No.
Good percentage became
wonderful,
observant. But here was the challenge. You sit down with these women. Like the first year, all the women that came had been the radicals of the 60s. Burning down universities. I mean, these were tough ladies.
Yeah, totally. Feminists.
And they wanted answers, or they were going to burn down the Chabad house.
Oh.
And where do you start? Where do you start? They didn't even have nostalgia to work with, Remember your grandmother used to bake challah? Not my grandmother. What are you talking about? There was nothing
to hold on to start foundation.
So their question, spoken or unspoken, was, what do I need this for? Convince me.
So why were they coming in the first place?
We sent out a little flyer that said, come study the purpose of life. They walked in and said, you know the purpose of life? I dare you, tell me.
That was actually one of the first, instead of opening with the sex, I was either, let's start with something light. What is the purpose of life? That's my first question. But
yeah,
sex seemed a bit more like...
You save the light stuff for later.
Exactly.
Anyway, so it became so clear. They don't need it. Whoever said we need it? So way back then, I realized we're not talking about our needs. Otherwise, we're finished. So it became, we're here to serve him. If he needs nothing, we can't serve him. If we can't serve him, what are we doing? Getting yourself to heaven? I'm not interested.
So moving forward, what are 2 things that perhaps a person can do to find answers or find for himself or herself a connection to a higher power or the purpose for their life?
The first thing is you have freedom of choice. And the choice you need to make is a very simple one. You can be needy or you can be needed. That's it. That's what it boils down to. You can focus on your needs, try to satisfy your needs, pursue your needs, do it your way, whatever that means, and you're going to get depressed. Or you can focus on who needs you. We exist because we are needed. That's who we are. We are necessary, not always lovable. God doesn't say, I always love you. But he does say, I always need you, even when I hate you. So that's the choice in life. And it's a new insight. We've never understood or appreciated this. You don't have to be needy. But you are needed. So when your needs fail, give it up. Do something for someone else. Find out who needs you, and you have a life. If you're just thinking about what you need, you just have survival. It's depressing.
It's a powerful concept right there. And to end it off on something light, 2 words for you. Bob Dylan. I was told that there's a story there.
He's a singer.
Yeah.
Oh, you knew that.
That I'm familiar with. Yeah.
You know Benny's really good joke? My son?
Wow. Nachas, let's hear it.
He gets up on stage and he says, hey, I'm not the only famous Jewish singer from Minnesota. There's also Bob Dylan. And between the two of us, we have sold millions of albums.
That's very funny. I think a lot of people don't know about Benny that he's a very funny and witty guy. He's sharp. I wonder where he gets that from.
Yeah, I wonder. Anyway,
Rabbi Manis Friedman.
Dylan?
Yeah, tell me. Yes.
Fell in love with the Rebbe.
Fell in love with the Rebbe. Through how? You made that connection?
No, I think it started before. But to him, the Rebbe was the ultimate nonconformist. And he loved it. There was one time he heard that the Rebbe wasn't feeling well. I don't know how. Somebody said something. The Rebbe was suffering from sciatica.
Sciatica?
You know, his leg. Yeah. So somebody said, no, the Rebbe's not feeling well. He hopped on a plane, came to 770.
Really?
Stood by the door when the Rebbe came out from Mincha. Saw the Rebbe walk briskly to his. Oh, he's okay. He flew back.
That's true story.
True story.
Wow. Look at that. Amazing.
If you go to the oil late at night, you might meet him.
All right. You heard it here, guys. Rabbi Manis Friedman, thank you very much. Anything, how could people find you, find your work?
Find me.
No, every word. Yes.
It's not like I'm hiding.
Yeah, all right. It's true. It's true. Your website?
Yeah. So you can go to this thing called YouTube.
YouTube.
You've heard of it?
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty popular.
You've got a couple of videos up there.
Or you can go to itsgoodtoknow.org.
Mm-hmm. An interesting name for a website.
It's the whole program is called It's Good to Know.
Great.
Because
what's your program?
Because it's good to know.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
All right. If you want to know, go to It's Good to Know.
Yeah. Or if you want a really internal view, go to 11213.org.
Interesting. Cool.
The zip code of Crown Heights.
That's right.
And that's all of my classes and conversations with local people, yeshiva girls, yeshiva boys. The inside conversations that people love much more than the canned speeches, you know.
Yeah, totally. Okie dokie. All right, Manis Friedman, thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it. Thank you for all your wisdom and sharing, and wishing you a great day.
Thank you. And you gotta appreciate that what you're doing is not mere entertainment. It can be life-changing and life-saving. No exaggeration. You give people something to live for, you've saved their life. Not to get morbid.
Yeah, on that note.